Dear writer, I want to begin by meeting you where you are. Perhaps you are writing in the margins of your life, early in the morning, late at night, in between responsibilities that do not easily make space for this work. Perhaps you've been writing for years, or perhaps you're just beginning to take yourself seriously. Perhaps you are unsure if what you are doing counts. I know something about that place. In 2011, I was not being the writer that I wanted to be. My first novel had been out for 7 years, but I couldn't make meaningful progress on the second. My life was full, so full of responsibilities, full of distractions. I was raising my son, who was 7 at the time, and doing a great deal of work that involved ghostwriting for other people. I was writing, but not my own work, and certainly not in the way that I longed to do it. I didn't know how to move forward. I didn't know how to make time. I didn't know how to turn the ship. I thought about getting an MFA, but I was often discouraged. I was told that I didn't need it. And so I kept going as I was, kind of muddling along, uncertain, waiting for something to shift. Then in June of that year, one of my sisters passed away, and something did shift. I realized in a way that felt both sudden and undeniable that I could not take time for granted, that if I was going to become the writer I wanted to be, I would have to change how I was living my life. So I applied to a low residency MFA program. I was accepted, and I rearranged my life to make it possible, even taking on work as a substitute school bus driver to help pay for it. As it turned out, earning that degree was one of the best things I have ever done, not only for my writing, but for my life. I entered that program with a clear idea of who I thought I was as a writer. I was going to write fiction. I had plans. I had expectations. I had a sense of what my voice was and what it was not. And I did write fiction. But something else began to happen, something I did not anticipate. In conversation after conversation, in letters from my mentors, in the quiet but steady exchange of work and response, and being in community with writers I became very close to, I began to see possibilities in my writing that I had not recognized on my own. My mentors saw something in me that I had not yet learned how to see for myself. They invited me gently, persistently, toward writing nonfiction. This was not a direction I had planned. I had been a journalist for 15 years. I thought I had done the nonfiction thing. But I followed the invitation. And over time, through those conversations and that guidance, I began to write differently. I began to understand my own voice more fully, not as something fixed, but as something that could stretch, deepen, and take on new forms. I began to understand craft not as a set of rules, but as a set of tools that I could use with intention. Since then, I have written 3 nonfiction books, along with essays on spirituality, work I would not have imagined for myself when I first entered that program. I have also continued writing fiction, 3 more novels at this point. I say this not to suggest that your path should look like mine. It won't. But I do want to suggest this. The writer you are right now is not the limit of who you can become. And one of the great gifts of a low residency MFA at its best is that it places you in sustained, thoughtful conversation with mentors who are paying close attention to your work, not just to what you are doing well, but to what is quietly trying to emerge. They do not impose a path. They help you to see one. They help you hear your own voice more clearly. They help you trust it. And just as importantly, they help you develop the craft to shape that voice with intention so that what you mean to say can actually arrive on the page. This is what changed my life as a writer. I did not become the writer I expected to be. I became a writer with a broader voice, a deeper sense of possibility, and a clearer grasp of my own craft. I learned how to work with my talent, not just to have it, but to use it. And this is what I want for every student who comes through our program. Not that you become a particular kind of writer, but that you become more fully yourself on the page and more capable of carrying that self forward with confidence, with skill, and with intention. Wherever you are tonight, whatever you are working on, whatever doubts or questions you may be holding, I want you to know that there is more in you than you may yet see. And that with the right attention, the right conversation, and the right community, that more can begin to take shape. All my best. Sophfronia Scott, Director of the Alma College MFA in Creative Writing.